Today, sports are no longer fun and games, but a business, especially at the college level. Division I college sports provide a large amount of university's income. The school receives money from ticket sales, television contracts, and other sports-related merchandise. The athletes, on the other hand, receive a scholarship and a little bit more. While the idea of receiving a free college education is something few would complain about, when the issue is more closely examined, it becomes evident that it's not enough. So today I want to briefly explain why college athletes should be paid, and I have 3 reasons why. The 3 reasons are that they are generating a surplus of money, their time is strictly dedicated to sports in school, and lastly, their cost of education would urge them to finish and get their degree. In a documentary conducted by ESPN entitled Fab 5, one of the college basketball players for the University of Michigan said that it was hard to see his jersey in the stands because he wasn't even receiving money from it, even though Adidas was promoting his jersey. So Adidas was gaining money from them because they are popular on TV and whatnot, but the players, they weren't receiving any benefit from it. He also states that he couldn't even afford the jersey that his friends were wearing when he wanted to purchase it for his mom. So professional athletes are being paid, so why shouldn't college students be paid too? College athletes be paid too. Some critics may argue that these student athletes are amateurs, and if paid, then they're becoming professional athletes. Defining college athletes as amateurs creates another problem, in addition to not being paid by the university, because athletes can't promote themselves. The NCAA states student athletes shall be amateurs and should be protected from exploitation by professional and commercial commercial places, because they're dedicated to their school. But at the same time, this statement can be contradictory because without payment from the school they're attending, they're still being exploited anyways. With all the time practicing and working in the classroom, how many athletes actually have time to get a job? In reality, they're already working by performing on the court, on the field, or on the ring. According to in 2000, due to the increasing cost of education, the NCAA approved student athletes' employment in jobs paying up to $2,000 during a school year. But $2,000 barely even covers educational costs. According to the National Players College Association, Duke basketball players were valued at $1,025,656, while the players were living just $732 above the poverty line and a scholarship shortfall of $1,995. With all of the respect and publicity of these athletes, it goes unnoticed that a great deal of players live very near to the poverty line. Due to this lack of money, black markets are created. Here, boosters that represent the university give these players cars, spending money, or anything they want, and in return, these players go to that respective university. So basically, the athletes, they get paid under the table, which isn't legal, but some universities do it in order to help their athletes. The last argument that supports paying college athletes is that these full-ride scholarships given to the best athletes do not actually cover all of their expenses. And if they do, then athletes would probably stay in school longer. Many athletes still can't afford to have their parents come to the stadium and watch the games. If athletes are paid to play, not only can they cover some of their college expenses that scholarships could not cover, but also now they will want to finish their education. NCAA prides itself on all student athletes being students first and athletes second. However, it seems more popular that athletes leave early for the pros. In college basketball, many freshman stars are referred to as one and done, which means they complete 1 year of college and they go straight to professional, whether it's overseas or in the NBA. According to the article, should student athletes get paid, a university's primary objective is to provide its students with a quality education that prepares them to function in the world as opposed to in college. However, without paying athletes, universities leave their students with no other option but to not graduate and withdraw after a semester or a year to meet their financial obligations. Logically, it should be very simple for the universities to compensate their student athletes. Author John Burrow suggests that every university pays the same flat rate to each college athlete for 3 years and offer a raise to senior athletes. And this bonus will create an incentive for students to finish. While it may seem odd to pay college amateur athletes, the reality is that compensation of such athletes is a necessity, not only to keep competition at a steady level in college athletics, but also to encourage students to graduate and get their college degrees. The truth of the matter is that many college athletes are already being paid under the table, which creates these black markets that's not only illegal, but it's also unfair to other universities that abide to the NCAA regulations. All in all, without the payment of student athletes, athletics can have a downfall and competition can become not as difficult because of players not even wanting to play anymore. Athletics, again, is not just fun once you get to the college level. It's an opportunity for you to grow as a person from the inside out and understand the true meaning of hard work.
All right, so Dennis, what did you think?
I think she did good. She looked very confident out there. She wasn't really moving a whole lot. Her voice was nicely projected across the room. One of the things that she kept on reading from her notes a lot, and I felt like she was just kind of reading me the speech in a sense, like it just kind of was prepared. And kind of like her tone of voice, I feel that she could have put more emotion into it, being that she does play basketball and, you know, we're all college students here. She had really good information, and, you know, she had her whole black market thing and how, you know, students are getting paid that way. I guess it kind of really persuaded me to want me to be okay with, I guess, college athletes getting paid. Overall, I think she did pretty good.
All right, I think that the opening statement's very clear. Your goal is well laid out. There's a pretty clear secondary structure at the beginning. In the body of the speech, I didn't think that you were as consistent at sticking to that, and the signpost needed to be a little bit clearer. There is good information in the presentation. I thought that you cited some good examples. They need to be developed a little bit more emotionally. You mentioned, for instance, the one basketball player who's seeing his jersey in the stand, but he can't even afford to buy his mother that jersey. That's one of those places where you've got the story and you got to get some emotional payoff of it, and you're just reading it as if it is another piece of information instead of something that ought to be drawing our attention. When you mentioned the Duke athletes, for instance, and you've got this statistic that talks about what they are worth in terms of what they bring to the university. I assume that's what that number was, that they're worth $1.25 million or something along those lines. And you say they're barely getting above the poverty line. What are the conditions and situations that they live in? How do they suffer? How are they different than anybody else in these contexts? I think that there's probably an opportunity here to build a little bit emotional involvement in what's going on. The idea that everybody is gonna, I think there's a problem with the idea. There are definitely value in some of these folks, but if you were going to be talking about the vast majority of student athletes, you would find that there is not that much value that's going on. So it's really the success of those programs that's underwriting all the other programs that's going on there. So who do we pay? Do we pay all of them? Do we pay the ones that are in the high profile programs that are bringing in the money and hope that works? I think you've got some good ideas about how this might develop, but again, I don't think it's quite developed enough as a policy, even though you have, like I said, a couple of good quotes there at the end that I think you're working on. It feels like you are reading this speech. You ought to be connecting with the speech. There's not much variety in your voice. You're very limited in your audience contact. You don't seem physically engaged with the presentation, so that feels a little strange also. And I think that you need to be able to sell this a little bit more for us, and you're underselling it at this point. All right. Thank you.